Chanel Simmonds, welcome to Sport at 10. How are you?
Yes, thank you. I'm very well. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about the Fed Cup coming up. Who are we playing? What are our chances? How ready are we? What are we looking forward to?
We are in the Africa-Europe Group 2 when it comes to Fed Cup. So some of the other countries will be Luxembourg, Austria, Bosnia, Tunisia, and Moldova. But altogether, there's 8 of us, 8 countries. We'll be split up in 2 groups. So then we'll have a round-robin format. So we'll play against 3 countries, and then depending on where we finish in that group, we'll play against the same position from the other group to either be promoted or relegated. Our goal this year is definitely to try and stay in the group, because last year we were in Africa-Europe Group 3 and we did very well. We were promoted. We won all of our matches. So now this year we'll be playing a lot stronger countries and stronger players. So, like I said, definitely to try and stay in the group.
Chanel's telling a good story there, because Group 3 is the lowest. It's like there. So we're up now into the next division, and we're looking to maintain that and then get even further up to compete against even better tennis players around the globe. What makes Fed Cup nice and special and a great event to be participating in?
For me personally, Fed Cup is one of the best weeks of the year. I'm usually traveling on my own, playing professional events, whereas Fed Cup, I have a team behind me. I'm wearing South African colours. It's not just that I'm playing for myself. I'm now playing for a team behind me. I'm playing for a country, playing for the nation. So it's a different energy that week. Like I said, I'm not just playing for myself now. There's a lot more on the line, but it's very exciting, and I'm very proud to represent my country at an event like Fed Cup.
So I'm sure those who want to go online and check it out, and maybe they'll be streaming the event. When do they need to be watching to see Team South Africa in the Federation, in the Fed Cup, playing against Luxembourg, right?
Well, we're not sure yet who we're going to play against.
Oh, you don't know?
No. So we've got the list of the 8 countries, but only 1 or 2 days before we start, our very first match is on the 6th of February.
So 6th February.
Yes,
that's
that will
when
be
I need
our
to be
first match, and the draw will be done, I think, on the 4th of February. So then we'll know who's in our group and who all we'll be playing against.
I want to talk about you, because this is a face that we should all know, but I'm absolutely certain don't. The #1 women's tennis player in the country is sitting right here with us. Why is it? Why is it that you aren't the most recognized face in the mall, walking around? Everyone should just know you're the #1 in the country. You're the best tennis player we have.
I think everyone knows South Africa's biggest sports is rugby, cricket, and soccer. And I don't think there's enough attention given towards tennis. We also, unfortunately, we don't have too many tournaments in South Africa, so there's not so much exposure when it comes to showing the country, the players and the top players. A lot of our juniors end up going to college in the US because that's very appealing. So there's not too many players that actually go on tour and try and play professionally, because it's very expensive. We have to travel very far to play tournaments, because, like I said, there's not too many in the southern part of Africa. So I think that also plays a part in not too many players coming out of South Africa.
How are you able to do it? How are you able to be on tour?
I am very frugal with my money. So I stretch every single little cent as far as I can. I try play in places where it's cheaper to travel to and cheaper to stay. I've actually been playing a lot of my tournaments in the US, but they look after the players in the way that they set up players to stay with families, host families, and a lot of the circuits are within driving distance, so I don't have to fly every single week. So surprisingly, the US is one of the cheapest places to play.
And you've been up in as high as almost like 150 in the world. I remember when you got to the Australian Open, first round. What's next? When is the breakthrough coming? When are we going to see you playing regularly at the majors? Is there a plan to get that ranking, maybe top 100 soon? How do we get there?
Yes, definitely. My highest ranking was 158. I've dropped a little bit since then, but the goal is definitely trying to get inside the top 200, which will allow me to play in the qualifying events of all the Grand Slams, like the Australian Open that's on right now. If I'm able to get my ranking inside the top 100, then I'll be playing on the big courts, and I'll possibly be on TV and playing the bigger names. So that's definitely one of the goals. I've started working with Earl Granger again, and he helped me when I got to my highest ranking. So now I've gone back to working with him, and hopefully in the next few months I'll be climbing the ranks.
And all of this talent out of Kempton Park, right? Just right here by the airport. Grew up there?
Yes, still live in the same house.
You sound sad.
No, it's a nice thing.
So from Kempton to the world, and we're working on pushing our ranking up. We're working on getting ourselves up into the top 100. Is there a time frame for the goals?
To be honest, I could, in 4 tournaments, if I do really well, I could be inside the top 200. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, so it all depends on how I'm playing at the time and what tournaments I'm competing in.
All right, so 6 February is when we can look forward to the Fed Cup coming along. You're going to be where after that, when it comes to being on tour and traveling with the tennis? Where are you headed after the Fed Cup?
I'll be going to Mexico. There's a few tournaments in Mexico, yes. So that's just the brief schedule right now. I'm not sure what I'll be playing afterwards. But one of the goals for this year also is All Africa Games in September. And if I do well there, then that could possibly qualify me for the Olympics in 2020.
I see what you're doing there with the Mexican thing. I remember that commercial where in Mexico, tennis, she's not big. So I think you've got to go there and give them a proper hiding. It's good to have the #1 women's tennis player in South Africa, in the studio, and all the best for the team. Who else is with you? Who else is in the team? Who else is going to be traveling with you? Just name them so that we at least know who else is in the team.
So it's myself, and then there's Marjorie Leroux, who I'll be playing doubles with. Then there's Teresa van Sale. She's in the US on college scholarship, but she's able to play for us. And then there's Iman Hassem, and Zani Barnard, and Sanazu.
So there you go. That's our team headed off to the Fed Cup.